When did you realize your study partner was actually dangerous? I knew Brett was intense about grades, but I never thought he'd destroy what we'd all worked for. We'd been in the same AP study group since sophomore year, and his competitiveness had gotten progressively worse as college applications approached. Brett would screenshot everyone's practice test scores and rank us in a spreadsheet he'd share for motivation. He reported Brett to the honor council for cheating, because Brett studied with his older brother who'd taken the class before. He even hid library books we needed for research papers, then found them after the deadline passed. But the breaking point came when he sabotaged Mira's science fair project. She'd been working on this environmental study for 6 months, collecting water samples from local streams. Brett accidentally knocked over her samples the day before regionals, destroying months of data. He said he tripped, but I saw him look around first to make sure no one was watching. That night, I told Brett I was done with the study group. I couldn't handle his toxic behavior anymore. The situation got complicated because of our AP history presentation, a massive project worth 40% of our grade that we'd been working on all semester. We built this incredible interactive timeline about the civil rights movement using Arduino boards and programming. It was museum quality, honestly the best thing any of us had created. Brett had done the coding, I'd done the historical research, Randy handled the construction, and Denise designed the interface. The project was stored in the computer lab because it was too big for any of our houses. We all had keycard access, and Brett had been going in daily to perfect the code. He'd text us updates at all hours about tiny improvements nobody else would notice. 3 days before the presentation, I got a text from Randy at 6 a.m. The project is destroyed. I rushed to school to find our months of work in pieces. Every Arduino board was snapped in half. The display panels were shattered. The hard drives with our code and research were missing. On the whiteboard was a message in Brett's handwriting. If I can't have the A, no one can. The janitor said Brett had been there until 2 a.m., supposedly working on final touches. Security footage showed him methodically destroying everything with a hammer he'd brought from home. He'd even deleted our cloud backups using admin passwords he'd stolen from the computer teacher. Randy was crying. Denise threw up in the trash can. 6 months of work, hundreds of hours, gone because Brett found out Mira's science fair win would likely make her valedictorian instead of him. I immediately went to Principal Patterson with the security footage saved on my phone. Brett was in his first period class acting completely normal, even asking people if they wanted to study together for finals. They pulled Brett from class and found the stolen hard drives in his locker, along with a detailed plan he'd written about destroying other students' projects before graduation. He had a list with everyone's names and their biggest academic achievements, with notes on how to sabotage each one. Brett was expelled immediately and charged with destruction of property and theft. The school calculated the damaged equipment at over $3,000. His early admission to Cornell was revoked when they learned about the expulsion. His parents tried arguing it was stress-induced, that the pressure of college admissions had broken him, but the premeditation shown in his written plans proved otherwise. Our teacher gave us an extension and the school provided replacement materials, but we could only rebuild about 60% of the original project. We all got B's instead of the A+ we deserved. Randy was so traumatized he dropped out of all AP classes senior year. Brett tried applying to other colleges, but word had spread. He ended up at community college, where ironically, he was caught plagiarizing and expelled again. The worst part? In his confession, Brett said he did it because he knew we were all smarter than him. He thought destroying our work was the only way he could stay on top. He chose ruining 4 futures over accepting he might be second best.